Hey, this is Jeremy with MyCareerTech.com, here with another online course for your Career Tech classroom. And today we're going to be discussing measuring tools, which are used throughout the shop to measure different machine parts. Let's get started. Measuring tools are essential in the automotive industry. Parts like the engine and transmission need exact measurements for inspections and replacement. One of the most common measuring tools is a micrometer, which is a device with a calibrated screw used for measuring components in machines. There are 4 different types of micrometers. The outside micrometer is used for measuring the external diameter of a hole. Parts requiring these measurements include crankshafts, pistons, valves, and camshafts. The inside micrometer is used when measuring the internal diameter of a hole. Examples of such holes are cylinder bores and main bearing bores. These micrometers are the industry standard of measuring tools because of their high accuracy and their simplicity. The depth micrometer measures the exact depth of holes. For example, it can be used to measure the deck height, which is the distance from the center of the crankshaft to the top of the engine block, and the piston deck clearance, which is the distance from the top of the piston to the top of the engine block. And finally, the brake micrometer is used to measure the thickness of brake rotors. Next, we'll cover the most common gauges you'll find in the shop. The dial indicator tool is one of the primary measuring tools used in precision engine building. It measures thrust and run out on valves, crankshafts, flywheels, and brake components. The dial indicator is also used to measure the backlash or movement between gear teeth. Another measuring tool is a thread gauge. A thread gauge is used for measuring the pitch of a screw thread. It allows you to promptly categorize the thread by shape and pitch. The purpose for this tool is to obtain the closest estimated measurement to a known thread standard. To use, you'll first go through a trial and error process to determine which gauge can most accurately measure the type thread you're working with, metric threads versus American threads. A feeler gauge is another handheld tool used to measure air gap widths and clearances between moving parts with steel pieces of varying calculated thicknesses. Torque angle gauges are used with torque wrenches to measure that each component of a fastener has equal tightness. And finally, a spark plug gap gauge is used when replacing spark plugs to confirm the plugs have the proper gap, which is critical for engine performance. A vernier caliper is a measuring tool used to determine the thickness, diameter, and distance from one end of an object to the other. The vernier, dial, and digital calipers all give an accurate and precise distance measurement, but with varying ways of interpreting the result. They provide 4 types of measurement: inside, outside, depth, and step. Finally, the Plastigauge measures plane bearing clearances, mainly in engines. The Plastigauge consists of a wax strip with exact dimensions and deformation characteristics. The strips are color-coded according to the clearance range. Properly maintaining measuring tools are important to keeping them working accurately. Make sure you adjust, calibrate, and safeguard these tools. Thanks for joining us at MyCareerTech.com, and a special thanks to the certified Career Tech teachers that helped in building this curriculum. We'll see you next time.